This is probably one of the most important videos that I have made or will probably ever make. And that is because it's all about restoring your heart. If you're new here, my name is Desiree D. Ray Wise. I am a spiritual healing coach, and I help people to heal their relationship with themselves in order to heal their relationship with others. Today, I want to talk about why it is so important to restore your heart. Okay. Why it is so important to let love back in so that you can be who you are made to be, so that you can fulfill your purpose, so that you can experience the love, the abundance, and the fruitfulness that we are meant to experience in this human life. So, first and foremost, I want us all to know that we were born with a certain level of spiritual power, with a certain level of love, with a certain level of purpose and fruitfulness. We were born to experience the beauty and the wonder of life. But then something happens in our experiences that make us forget this abundance, forget this love, and forget the power that we naturally possess. In other words, the beauty and the magic and the wonder that our heart is supposed to attract to us and create for us gets contorted and shifted into something destructive. The heart that was once pure, the heart that was once aligned with the will of God and the goodness of God, becomes one that is filled with anger, hatred, disdain, annoyance. Okay. And therefore, our actions, our lives, and what we create and what we manifest is in alignment with that frequency: the hate, the anger, the frustration, the lack of forgiveness. And so it's so important that we restore our hearts through changing, transforming, and healing the trauma that we've experienced. And so it's such a we've all seen the movie Moana, right? And so in the movie Moana, my daughter was actually watching it the other day, and as I watched over and I glimpsed at it, I was reminded of why it is so important that we do our healing work and that we transform our hearts and that we call back the heart that we always had. Okay. See, we were never born to be annoyed, frustrated, evil, mad, angry. This is not who we are by nature. By nature, we are love. By nature, we are light, right? Because we were born and we were made in the image of God, okay? And not the God that religion tries to force upon us as being a jealous God, a wrathful God, a vengeful God, right? Those are the qualities of God that is embodied when, for lack of better words, when he is angry with what his supposed sheep or followers are not doing what they're supposed to do, then you get an angry, a vengeful, a wrathful God. But by nature, God is loving, God is giving, God is uh, um, has a heart that wants to see his people thrive. Now, I'm speaking to you now in general terms of God, right? I truly believe that God is not one man on a throne. God is this omnipresent energy that embodies both masculine and feminine, right? God is a mother and God is father, right? It's not just father God, or it's not just mother God, it's father, mother God. It's the wholeness that creates life, like we see in physical form. It takes a mother and a father to create life. Okay, I just want to put that out there. But the essence of God holistically is one that is giving, one that is loving, one that is nurturing, one that provides. But when certain things happen, destruction, anger, frustration happens, this is when we get natural disasters that come through and clear a place out. But what I'm talking about is the nature of us all as human beings. We are not naturally wrathful and vengeful. That is who we become based off of how our trauma impacts us mentally, spiritually, emotionally. The vengefulness, the wrathfulness, the anger, the frustration, that is a result of unresolved trauma and not having the skills, not having the resources to actually manage that in a way that serves our highest good. And so the movie Moana really showed us this, which is so beautiful, which is why us adults, we need to spend time looking at and watching what our children are watching, because there's so many messages in it. Okay, so let's check out Moana here. Let's check out the movie right here. Okay, what we are seeing right now is Taka. Okay, this is Taka. Taka is angry, she's wrathful, she's vengeful, she is a volcano, right? And she is embodying this darkness, this frustration because her heart was taken. Let's watch.
I have crossed the horizon to find you. I know your name. They have stolen the heart from inside you. But this does not define you.
Okay, I have to pause it right there. Okay, so we see the anger, we see the frustration, we see the emotion and how the trauma has changed what was once this beautiful being, right? She is all black and all cracked up, and she is spewing, right? She's spewing with lava, lava being hot, lava being destructive. She's spewing with lava. She's spewing this energy of hurt and pain. Think about people in your life, or maybe even you, when the trauma, the emotion was just so heavy, so intense, so much, and you did not know how to deal with it. Your heart was taken, and now all you can do and be is this angry person. So now your words are angry, right? Your energy screams angry and anger. And even when there are people in front of you who have a heart and who have a desire to love you, even when there are people who see who you are, even when you have people around you who know who you were before the trauma, you struggle to let them in because you have this protective guard, this shield around you, and you want so bad to be restored back to yourself, but you just don't know how to let people in. When we look at Taka here, right? She sees Moana, she's like, who is this little person thinking that they can face me? Right? And the look on her face is that of anger, if that is that of frustration, right? Because for so long she's forgotten that she has the ability and the capacity to love, to honor, to nurture. She forgot that she has that. That happens so many times to us human beings. Well, we experience so much trauma over and over and over again, we forget the capacity that we have to love. We forget our natural ability to be fruitful and to multiply in the best ways, in the most amazing and beautiful ways. And I want you to know that your heart can be restored. I want you to know that there are angels. Moana is an angel to Kai right now. And think about how divine this is. Think about how beautiful this is, where Moana says, I traveled. Wow. Moana says, I've traveled across the ocean to find you. I know who you are. There are people who have been assigned to you that are meant to support you in restoring your heart back to wholeness, back to fullness, back to love. There are people, there are angels who are walking into your life. They have been assigned to you. A part of restoring your heart and bringing you back into the fullness of who you are is a part of their purpose. Because they know and understand that when your heart is restored, when you get back to who you were born to be, you become a gift not only to them, but to thousands or millions and billions of people. You become a gift to life once you are restored back. Let's keep watching.
This is not who you are. You know who you are. Who you truly are.
I want to say this really quickly. When we are not being who we are, who we were made to be, we're ugly. We're unattractive. And it has nothing to do with the symmetry of your face, the proportions of your body, the length of your hair, your skin tone. None of that has to do with it. Some of the most beautiful, by society standards, some of the most beautiful people have the potential to have the most ugly spirit just because they've been disconnected from their hearts. When we're disconnected from our heart, we create this solid barrier. We are no longer in a state of flow. We're no longer in a state of ease. We're no longer in a state of allowing, which is what brings forth the abundance and the love and the pleasure that we desire. It's because you're so hard. And this hardness is a lot of times it's easier to identify this hard exterior in women, right? Because we've been taught that women are meant to be soft, women are meant to be gentle and nurturing and loving. And so when a woman is not that, we can quickly see, okay, she has this heavy exterior barrier that is guarding her heart, that is guarding her womb, that is guarding her energy completely as a form of protection. And so she shows up in work, she shows up in life, she shows up in love, very masculine, very hardened, lacking the ability to empathize, to have compassion, to love, to nurture, and to give. This woman may even have children. Her children may not even know the depth of her heart because she's just had to protect herself even from people that deep down inside she knows she loves, but she doesn't allow herself to love them out of fear of being hurt or abused or mistreated. And so I love when Moana says who you really are, because sometimes we can be so attached to our trauma. Sometimes we can be so connected to and integrated with the hurt that we've experienced that we feel like that's us. We forget who we were as children, how joyful, how happy, how creative and artistic we were, how free we were. We believe that this personality and this embodiment that we have now is actually who we are. So Moana says, who you really are beyond the exterior. And she restores her heart. And as she restores her heart, we see so beautifully, right? As she restores her heart, we see so beautifully how she instantly becomes beautiful. So here's the thing. When things in life are not fruitful, they're not multiplying, you have to ask yourself, am I residing in my heart? Immediately when her heart was restored, first of all, she started to come alive. She started to look like who God uh, uh, created her to be. When your heart gets restored, you start to be who God created you to be. And that means you look a certain way. How you carry yourself is a physical representation of God's love and God's blessings and God's fruitfulness over your life. How you look resembles God. Not only that, when your heart is restored, your name changes. See, in the movie Moana, when she was in her volcanic state, right? Tafiti was her name, right? She was in her volcanic state. She was angry. She was frustrated. She was spewing lava. And when her heart was restored, she became Taka. Okay? Spiritually speaking, when I'm talking about a name change, I'm talking about how people now see you, what people call you. Ooh, come on, spirit. See, right now, in the hardened state, people may call you something other than what God has called you. Oh, she's angry. Oh, she's a bitch. Oh, I don't like her. She's this, she's that. I don't, whatever. And not saying that we do what we do for other people to speak to us a certain way or for people to see us as blessed, for people to see us as good. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I am saying is that if on a if on a grand scale, the people in your space, the people around you, if they are saying things about you or if they are experiencing you in a way that's not in alignment with what God has called you to do and be, then that's your name. Your name is your, let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? Your name is what people know you for. When people are in your space, what do they feel? Who are you to them? Right? What do they recognize you for? Are you angry? Are you jealous? Are you vengeful? That's your name. Your name is what you are known for. When your heart is restored, your name becomes different. What you are known for becomes different. She's loving, she's kind, she's truthful, right? She's nurturing, she's giving, she's benevolent. That becomes your name, okay? Not only that, when your heart is restored to the fullness, and heart restoration is also about being in alignment with the will of God. Your heart's desires is one with the desires that God has given you, not what the world has given you and not what the world has taken away. You don't want things just because the world took that from you. I want that back because the world, life, whatever. No, you focus on the vision that God has given you for your life, and that is what you allow to become what you pursue in life. And when your desires is linked to that, now whatever you touch becomes gold. So we see in Moana, when Takai puts her hand on this dormant land, it immediately starts to create fruitfulness, flowers, abundance. So how do we restore our hearts? That's so good. Well, one, we have to learn detachment. We have to stop labeling our life and our experiences as negative. We have to stop thinking in our minds that the world did this, life did this, the devil did this, or whoever did this. And this is bad. And because it's bad, this is now who I am. We have to learn to separate. And we have to tap into the ideology that all things are working for my good. That's you starting to call back your heart, right? Second, you want to pay attention to the angels that are showing up in your life, right? The angels may not just be a person, it may be a situation, it may be an opportunity. Obviously, it may be a physical person, right? That come into your life and they give you a gem. They give you some insight. They give you some wisdom. They give you something that helps you to kind of remember that God exists and that goodness exists in the world. You know, when we're in that dark state, that volcanic state, that Tafiti state, that Taka state. Yes, her name was Taka, right? The Taka state, when we're angry, we we don't allow ourselves to see the goodness that is present. And so a part of restoring your heart is becoming intentional in looking for the good. It may come by way of something so simple as you walk into the store and somebody holds the door for you. It may be a random act of kindness from somebody. It may be random to you, but spiritually, that was an angel that was just sent to you to show you that goodness still exists. So, restoring the heart is about looking for those moments. The third thing about restoring the heart is stop speaking to your traumas, right? I know when I first started doing this work as a coach and as a healer, I talked a lot about the abandonment that I experienced and the rejection that I experienced, which I had to do that to create a level of resonance and connection with people, right? I had to let you know this is what I've overcome. But many times, uh, people love to talk about their trauma, not from the space of this is what I overcome, but from a space of identity. I'm a survivor. I survived. I have to talk about this, right? And so if you are using your trauma and your story as an identifier of who you are, then that's where you may not be living from a heart space and instead from a trauma space. Speaking about your trauma should only come from the perspective of what I've overcome. This is how I overcome it. Not this is who I am. I got to talk about it because nobody else, if I don't talk about it, nobody else is going to talk about it. Da, 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 da. Share your story, but it needs to come from a place of triumph. You got to really ask yourself, am I creating a community of people who are still battling? Or am I creating a community of people who have overcome and they have thrived beyond their trauma? Okay. That's a major difference because a lot of times when we're speaking from the identity of that trauma, we stay stuck in the trauma. We stay in it when we are meant to go beyond it. We're meant to use it as a catalyst for our growth. And then we have to start speaking about the growth, speaking about the good that has manifested from this experience and overcoming it. Not just telling the story just to tell the story, just to tell the story, just to tell the story. Have compassion for yourself. Have compassion for other people who are in the experience. But we have to speak to how do we come out of this and restore our hearts? Because if we keep on talking about our trauma from an identity basis of this is who I am and this is what I'm experiencing, we stay in the Taka state of being. We stay in the angry, the frustrated, the annoyed state of being. You got to get to a point where your trauma is a gift to you and not a hindrance to you. And not only to you, but to where your trauma becomes a gift to others because now you can help others to overcome it as well. Okay. You're not meant to continue reiterating a story and re traumatizing yourself and re traumatizing others through the perpetual conversations about it. The restoration of your heart is the key to your fruitfulness, your abundance, and the beauty and the wonder that you are. You're already it. It's who you are. It's who you were born as. It's who you are meant to be. Do not allow people, places, things, and your past to keep you in a state of anger, frustration, disdain, or whatever. Because if you stay there, you are only blocking your own blessings and the blessings that you are meant to, the blessing that you are meant to be to other people. Okay? Allow your heart to be restored. Come back into the fullness of who you are. Yes, that does involve forgiveness. It does involve forgiveness. And it's an understanding that you're forgiving not that person for whatever they did. You are forgiving yourself for even holding on to the identity that was created, the personality that was created from that experience. That's why you forgive. Detach. Look for the goodness that is all around you and change your identity. Be who you were called to be. Peace, family.